All right, cool. What's going on, everybody, or whoever might see this out of my few subscribers on YouTube? It's another edition of Amphramadi's Revelations. Natasha, you don't know, on this page, I'll go by Amphramadi. It's an acronym. Amphramadi stands for another motherfucker running his mouth on the internet. Hey, how do you spell it? Amfrhomoti. Amphramadi, another motherfucker running his mouth on the internet. Because it's a lot of motherfuckers running their mouth on the internet, and I'm another one. Hence,
Add me to the list.
Revelations. Val. So here we go. We have Natasha Taylor here in the flesh. I met her at this spot in Culver City called Art Bar. I went to see my homegirl Cheyenne, aka Bodacious Thing, perform. She's a singer. You should check her out. But good friend of mine. And that's where I met Natasha at. Man, were you friends with? Did you meet her that night, or were you friends with her previous?
I actually met her at Lower Deck Sessions and
Okay.
I saw her perform amazing. And yes, I try to check her out every time I'm in town.
Yeah, she blows the roof off.
Oh my
But
gosh. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, check her stuff out, homie.
Yeah.
So yeah, so after that, so I met her at the art bar, and then from there, we just exchanged Instagrams. It was nothing crazy, and then I just passively would kind of like see her posts, like, oh, that's interesting. What's she doing? What's she up to? I would just kind of see her, just kind of traveling all over the place, and these. I don't know. I just see her traveling all over the place. I don't know if she was doing van life. I didn't know what it was. I would just see her at just random camp spots, or she'd be in the woods somewhere, just all over the place. And I was just curious about her lifestyle and what she had going on. I was intrigued by it, so I kept on following her. And long story short, I eventually hit her up to do this so we can talk about that amongst other things. Yeah. So, what's up, Natasha?
Happy Friday. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Happy Friday. Thank you for allowing me to have you. Um, so yeah, I mean, give us an introduction to what you got going on, or whatever introduction means to you. What's going on in your life right now?
Yeah. So I did just end a little tour in my Hyundai Ioniq in the hatchback. Now I'm in here in Oxnard in SoCal. Excuse me. I'm in SoCal right now. I'm helping a friend move and I'm hanging out. I'm excited to be here and I'm planning my next trip. That's going to be back to Utah and then I'm going to hit the Grand Canyon and we'll see what I'm going to be camping in then.
Oh hell yeah, I love it. Utah, you're gonna like Mount Zion or something, or what's the or is it kind of like a general Utah exploration, or what are the specifics?
Yeah, so I did do Zion on the last trip.
Oh no,
And but yeah, unfortunately it started raining, so I
yeah,
missed
no.
Bryce Canyon. So I'd
Okay,
love to hit that, go back to Dixie Forest, and then head south to the Grand Canyon.
okay, okay, cool. So that's a perfect spinoff into. So were you just living out of your car for a minute? Or were you going on trips and coming back home and then going on another trip? Or were you just in your car, just going from place to place?
A little bit of all of that. So I did come home. I did go home twice between my trips, though it was so short. I basically got back, checked that the lights were on, and hit the road again.
Okay, okay, cool. So is that something you always did? Or is that something you decided you wanted to start doing? So you just took that initiation and started exploring all of these places? Or were you already doing that when I met you and I just caught you in the middle of it? You get what I'm saying?
Right, yeah. No, so it turns out there was a wedding for my childhood friend, and the wedding is in Seattle, Washington. I've done one road trip before, and it was just to Oregon. And I saw this as an opportunity for me to hit the road and see some new places, go further than I ever have before in the car. And I went there. I had some family that happened to be in the same area as the wedding. And then I had family a bit east, and I went and visited them. And so I'm fortunate I had family spread all over the place along my trip. So yeah, it was a little bit spontaneous, a little bit planned out.
Okay, so that was actually a new thing for you then.
It was, yes.
Dope, man.
Yes. Well, camping is something that's not new for me. I grew up going into the woods a lot and really camping for real. You know, like pitching up a tarp. Sometimes it wasn't even a tent.
You talking about that's what you
Sometimes
did
it
as a
was,
kid? That's what you was doing recently.
no, that was as a child.
Okay, got you. Okay,
Right, yeah. So sometimes it was just tarps and sleeping bags. You got a shovel and some TP when you went out behind a tree. And so, yeah, camping was just second nature to me. But the whole road trip and going into different areas, into different states, that was just new, exciting. And so, yeah, I'm so glad I did the trip and yeah.
okay, cool. So tell us something about it. I mean, what did you learn, or what were some of the coolest spots you hit? If you can choose one, maybe they were all so cool you can't even pick one. But I mean, to tell us about that experience since it was something new.
Right. So something I learned about my along my trip was really about people and culture for real. Because I only knew what I had seen on TV, on Real World, on MTV. And then I've, you know, we all like talk about who these Seattle people are
Yeah,
and what they're like. And, there's a mockery kind of. But
right.
I had never seen them in person. I've never seen the place that, these people are at. And so it was really interesting to go into the town. And one thing that I learned to pay attention to was actually how a city is laid out. And that really kind of speaks a lot about the city and kind of what's on their mind and what's their focus. And sometimes you notice that it's really bike centered, like it's really cyclist centered. And in other towns, maybe it's pedestrian centered. And other places, there may be a focus on landscape. And I noticed that, you may see some more curvatures in the buildings, and you understand that this city is paying attention to sound barriers and absorption and reflection and things like that. And then you get a mix of the surrounding landscape on top of that, like places like Arizona. So everything that I just mentioned on top of it being aesthetically pleasing and in a way blending, but not blending in with the background in places like Arizona. That's a difficult, in my opinion, kind of landscape to um, kind of come to the middle with, you know? So that was really interesting. So I learned a lot about people. I learned about the cities that they live in. And, I've had some cool experiences like in Zion. It was great to go to the national park, but I also stopped off at a local city park on the way out, and I got into the water. It was freezing cold, but it was awesome. It was amazing. There was a beautiful view. So it was incredible.
That's cool, man. Me and my me and some of my family members, we've been talking about going to Mount Zion for years, but we ain't went yet. We've been talking about them nonstop, but one of these days, though, one of these days, I'm either go solo or we going. So I'm not sure yet, but
Yeah.
one happening. But yeah, I never thought about that before though, as far as the way the city and the way the buildings are structured and how that can influence the population and how the people are and so forth. Okay, see, that's the stuff I'm talking about, man.
Yeah. Maybe it's really noticeable in dense cities like New York.
Oh
It's
yeah,
one thing when it's humid, but then you can almost like taste the stuffiness. It almost kind of closes in on you, in my opinion,
the
when I
stuffiness
had got
of the people or stuffiness of
the
air?
air.
The air. Okay, got you.
The air,
Got
right.
you. Okay.
So I've always been interested in some areas. because I've been in rich neighborhoods and I've been in poor neighborhoods, and these are the things I pay attention to. And you can tell by the design, oh, okay, so the richer neighborhoods are always in a higher elevation.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, that's interesting. There's better air there.
Hmm.
Okay. There's also less cropping there. So that's interesting.
Cropping.
Uh,
Cropping. What you mean?
Less agricultural
Oh, that's
cropping.
agriculture. You talk about in rich areas. Okay,
Yes.
got you.
Yes. And so I'm just paying attention to things like that have really started to pique my interest, because being in the military, you're already in a micro community as it is. And so that just helped me really zoom out and pay attention to the details, kind of at just a larger scale. So yeah, it's been incredible to now I'm by the sea right now, and that's been I was just in San Diego and Spring Valley. It's not necessarily on the water, still a coastal area. Now I'm really by the sea, Channel Islands, and it's interesting to notice everything here as well.
Nice. Okay, dope. Just picking up on stuff.
Yeah.
One thing that tripped me out is whenever I leave shit, whenever I leave like LA, because I'm so used to like, I'm from here, so I'm so used to like growing up around mountains. So whenever I go somewhere and it's like flat, that trips me out.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Yeah.
it just keeps going and it doesn't turn into a mountain at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy to
Yeah.
me. Um, okay, cool. I mean, what was it like just being in a car, just living out the car and
Uh,
on the road and stuff? And
yeah. Looking back on it, it was all the first thing that comes to mind is it was incredible. I really didn't have a problem living out of my car. I'm trying to think of the highlights. Like, it was actually better than I expected it to be.
it's dope.
I like when I want to tell people about it, I have to almost hold myself back because it was actually awesome. It was so awesome, and I'm so glad that I did it. Um, there were some points though where I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm on the side of like I did have, safety things like mace, knife, taser, but it was an experience. It was an experience and I loved it and I would do it again.
Okay, so you kind of use out your comfort zone in a sense. Okay. Um, what do you feel like? So from everything you learned, from everything you were doing, and I'm sure you got more to do, but at this juncture in time, at everything you picked up on, um, come on now, don't mess up on me. Okay. Come on, what are you doing? All right, I use my phone as my microphone connected to my computer, so I'm making sure it's not messing me up. Okay. So, what do you like? What do you kind of carry with you now? Like that's new. How do you approach? Did it change how you approach life? You
Yes,
kind of being back
it it
home.
absolutely changed how I approached life. It mostly changed how I approached people and my perspective on people and where they come from and what their influence is and what it would be like to live in a small area and really only have maybe movies or TV, magazines, comics, books to really experience the life, experience these riveting experiences. Um, my friend is from Arkansas and he's from Little Rock, Arkansas. And one thing that we talk about is the experiences that you're having in California, let alone the beach, Redondo Beach, Long Beach, San Diego, are incredibly different than any experience you're going to get when you go to Arkansas.
Right.
He talked about going to Comic-Con and ending up in a strange place afterwards. And there's just things that just would not happen in Arkansas or Iowa, things like that. And I really started to understand that. And I started to understand how, other people could perceive the California lifestyle, the California dream.
Mm-hmm.
And it just gave me more perspective. And I'm really grateful for that.
Okay. Dope. That's funny, man. Cause I definitely know what you mean. I'm, I'm from here. So being from here, it's like certain things I wouldn't even be, like aware of until I would have, I got friends from other places and they come and tell me about, oh yeah, man, California's like this versus it being like this over here. In LA, it's crazy. I had all these experiences. Same thing. I have all these experiences here that I wouldn't have had back home. I'm like, damn, since I've always been here, I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What it's like.
Yeah.
Comparing the two, man. So it's yeah, that's a real thing, man. I mean, if you're actually out there in the mix, you end up in some weird situations and crazy places. Like, how am I in this place
Yes.
around these people? How did this happen? How did we get here? How did you know what I mean? Like,
Yes. Like
yeah,
your Friday night you could be on the local news.
yeah,
Anybody.
yeah,
Anybody.
yeah. So
Just
that's
going out and having a good time and then whoa.
here,
Yeah.
here, with these people. Then that happens. You like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, all of a sudden you're in a mariachi band.
Yeah, like what? Yeah. Then you like
Yeah.
you go home, go to work the next day or some shit.
Right?
Whatever you do, if whatever you do. That's wild.
I've
Okay.
had like I've had so much fun. I used to just drive down to Santa Monica and meet people and have a good time and
Yeah.
just having those random crazy experiences. And some of my friends used to, or some of my coworkers would be like, "Oh, girl, you're wild, you're crazy," and I'm thinking, "No, it's just another Saturday night. Like, why do these people think I'm so crazy? Because I'm from here as well."
Uh-huh.
So I'm just like, no, this is just another weekend. And then now that I've traveled outside of California, especially to like a place like Utah and Idaho, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I get it now. I get it now. I was wildin'. I'm
Ah,
California wildin' for sure.
you notice the difference, man. You notice the difference. And like just the energy too. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like we live here, then when you like you ain't gotta leave state. You can just go somewhere else in California that's outside the cities. But you just feel it's just so much more calm. Like you feel that I don't want to say lack, but you feel that how much less stimulation it is. You know what I mean? Because when you're in the city, it's like it's always kind of bubbling. It's always something going on. You just feel that energy of just stuff happening and going on. Then you go somewhere else, and it's like, and people just living.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
People just
Yeah.
living versus when you like, in LA, everybody's trying to make something. Everybody's trying to create something. Everybody's ambitious, or you know what I'm saying? Or everybody's trying to,
Yes.
you know, create something, man, or do something. Whereas other places, like people just living their lives, you know, and
That was the best
not a
thing
bad. It's
about
not a
living
bad.
out
It's not.
here.
It's not a bad. Good thing. It's neutral. You know what I'm saying? It's just different.
Yeah.
It's just different, man. You definitely feel it. You ain't gotta go. You ain't gotta go that far, man. Just step outside the cities, and you be like, oh wow, okay. Like you feel that light. That you feel how much. You feel that energy dip. You
Yeah.
know.
It's a completely different world for other people.
Yeah.
And honestly, that really opened my mind to like politics as well. Such a different world for other people,
Different,
in these rural states.
different perspectives, different experience.
Oh, completely.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah.
And then some of these people aren't getting out of their state.
Oh no, they're there forever.
Right.
Hmm.
So it was just interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. It's pretty. That's interesting, but that is something you pick up on, just the differences, and it makes you understand how, like, even though even though this is one country, it's so different
Yeah,
depending on where you go. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, oh, no wonder you can't get all these people to agree on one thing because everybody's coming from such a different perspective.
right.
You-
Yeah.
like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Uh, your diet situation.
Mhm.
You did a 2-year elimination diet. Care to
Yeah.
elaborate? Why?
Yes.
What the diet consists of? Why'd you do it? How was it? How'd you feel?
Yes. I will answer as many questions that I remembered
Okay, got you.
out of all those.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'll pop some more in there as we go.
Right. So yes, I started an elimination diet around September or October 2021. And I never intended it to be like a 1 year, 2 year thing. I didn't know what I was going for. I just started to learn that certain foods cause inflammation. And that's just a little Google search that I found online. And I started to look up what those foods were that caused it. And I saw that alcohol, smoking. I wasn't an avid smoker, but I had vapes now again.
Uh,
And I did drink though. I had wine and I partied a little bit. And I was relatively healthy. I like to meal prep and I like to do bratwurst and spinach, like sauteed spinach. So I always had some meat and veggies and light on the carbs. A lot of time I was keto, really.
mhm.
Um, and then, so I got diagnosed with Epstein-Barr virus, and I also got diagnosed with syringomyelia, which is a cyst in the spinal cord. And
You have to explain
it's
what
not so
Epstein-Barr virus is. Epstein-Barr virus.
Epstein-Barr. Yes, so I difficult to
If you
go into
if you're comfortable, I don't want to, if it doesn't go into something you don't feel comfortable talking about.
Yeah,
But
I'm comfortable. It's
okay.
difficult to go into detail or really specify, put one definition on Epstein-Barr virus, but in short, it's a virus that it mimics autoimmune. It's the gateway to autoimmune, if you will. So people who have MS, people who have fibromyalgia, they have Epstein-Barr. People who have
Mhm.
celiac, and don't quote me on this, but a lot of these people who have a lot of these autoimmune disorders are linked to Epstein-Barr virus.
So is
And
it
so
like the
you
pre-virus
can
that like opens
you
the
can
door to,
think of
like,
it
okay, other conditions? Okay.
you can think of it like that. Like it causes inflammation throughout the body, so like joints. And then so it also, like, even my doctor that a practitioner I saw recently talked about how it attacks the spinal cord. So it's no surprise that I have a cyst on my spinal cord matched up with the Epstein-Barr virus.
Uh,
So yes, and this is activated after getting vaccinated for coronavirus
mhm.
June 2021. So June 2021, I get vaccinated. I go to the doctors and I'm like, I am having so much pain, my elbows, like, but it was really honestly, I lacked vocabulary. I didn't have the vocabulary to talk about what kind of pain I was feeling,
Mhm.
and things like that. So it made my doctor visits a little bit hard. But anyhow, so right, I go to the doctors. They tell me I have tennis elbow. I'm like, I don't, but okay. I go back. They tell me that I'm just trying to get pain meds, and I never even asked for any. I want to know what's going wrong, what's going on with my body. And then I happened to go to the gynecologist, and she's the one that drew blood on me, and she's the one that found that I had the antibodies for Epstein-Barr virus. I I'd say a month later, I'm sitting on the couch at home, and my roommate is sitting diagonal from me in the living room, and I blurt out a whole sentence, yabba dabba dee ba da ba ba, all gibberish. And as I was speaking, it's like I could hear that it was gibberish coming out of my mouth, but it was coming out as if I was saying a regular sentence. So I don't even, and then, right, I was shocked. And then I started getting pain in one of my arms, like the one that you're not supposed to if it's a stroke. Right. And so I freaking out. I go to the emergency room. Like even the side of my face started to get numb. Like they say I didn't have a stroke, but I don't know. That's hard to convince me, but so I go and that's when they find that I had the cyst in my spinal cord. And that causes, that's your spinal cord. And so that is where all your nerves are connected, your nervous system, and, um,
Sec,
yeah.
my let me get this back on my freaking. What is going on? Where is my situation? Okay, continue.
Okay. So that is where, yeah. So the cyst on the spinal cord, that's where all the nerves are and everything for the body. And I don't want to go too much into detail about how that's affected and things like that. But so in short, I started eliminating these items from my diet because of my diagnosis of Epstein-Barr virus and cyranomelia. And what I started with was gluten. And then I did dairy, corn, eggs, soy, alcohol. And then I did seed oils, right? And smoking was somewhere along in that. And I didn't really notice a difference. I noticed a difference along the way the whole time, but the biggest difference I felt was when I stopped having seed oils. And that's really when
Good.
I lost most of my weight as well. So right, I started this elimination diet and I just had this gut feeling, that I would have like gluten-free chips and just be like, I don't think this is right. I don't think I'm supposed to have this. I don't think it's right for my body.
Uh-huh.
Something inside of me told me. And so I would just tell myself, okay, that's something I'm getting off the list because I was in so much pain and everything. And I needed relief. I like my health really became my number one priority over food, over the comfort of food. You know, and so, and it honestly became stressful even to eat because it was always a game of how is this food going to make me feel? Is this going to cause me inflammation? Is this going to back me up? Like, what's going on? I still don't know. Um, so it was so important that I did the elimination diet to get relief from inflammation and start using that time to learn about my body, what wasn't working for it. And actually, the biggest thing that I learned was how to pay attention, was how to pay attention to my body, slow down, pay attention to what I was also eating, things like that. So I did the elimination diet all the way until, like you could say I went keto and then I went this, I went that, I went raw vegan. And I did go raw vegan for weeks. And I went into every stage of my elimination diet under the premise that this is a long lifestyle change. This isn't just a month-long diet. Like gluten-free may be the rest of my life, And so I've made it an intention to spend around 3 to 6 months eliminating each item off of my list. Right. So when it came to gluten, I did cheat and because I took my time with it for those 3 to 6 months, I wanted to make sure that, hey, am I really ready? Like, can I handle, going to a restaurant and the breadsticks are on the table? Can I handle those saltine cravings
Yeah.
and get through those. And so I spent time and making sure that I was really ready to let go of all those items. And then I landed upon raw vegan, and that was hard because I was sad that I may never have chicken or beef, like steak again. Like, oh my gosh, what is life without that?
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so I was so devastated, but I felt like it's for my life. It's for my life. So honestly, it was an easy choice at the same time. So I went raw vegan, and then I went, you know, well, I'd like to do, are there any questions about the elimination before I kind of move forward with anything else?
I think, man, that was very detailed. That was very thorough, which is did. So you kind of went through everything step by step. It seems like when you went through the different
Yeah,
levels of elimination until
I'm trying to move my camera.
you get
Sorry.
whatever you got to do is all good.
Okay,
You just went through every level of elimination until you got to raw vegan, essentially.
right.
Okay, yeah, that's fact. Yeah, the furthest I've ever gotten is vegan. But even then, I was probably still eating doing the seed oils and gluten and stuff like that. I think I did raw vegan. I done raw vegan a couple times on like, but it's been like on detoxes. I'd be like do like a few weeks detox and
Yeah.
not do raw vegan. But I never did long term. Even when I did do raw vegan for a few weeks at a time on a detox, I was still cheat though here and there. I was like, all right, man, I eat some rice or some shit.
Right.
Let me cook a vegetable just a little bit.
Right. Over the stove with the zucchini
Yeah, bro,
rolling it.
I'm telling you, it was yeah, I know some people. I know those people out there who do it long term, man. That raw vegan is tough though.
Yeah.
Um,
I really loved eating nuts. I loved the oranges. And that's something that's hard, like because I can't have nuts on this diet now, and it's difficult. It's difficult.
oh yeah, I
I
tear up
do
some
miss it.
nuts, man. Some trail mix, some nuts. I know
Yeah,
they're
like
healthy and juicy.
cashews,
I overdo it.
almonds,
Yeah, man.
pistachios.
Oh man, yeah. This to the point where like I love nuts. I really can't even buy them like that because I eat them nonstop, and then then it has the opposite effect it's supposed to have. It's supposed to be like a healthy snack, but I eat too many of them. You know what I mean? So if I get
Right.
them, it got to be like a just it got to be something for the moment, just a handful or something like that. But as far as like a big old bag of trail mix that's supposed to last, nah, man, nah, I do too much damage,
My snacks don't make it home.
bro. Who you telling? As soon as I come out the supermarket, man, I get in the car, pop it open, be eating when I'm driving, coming to the house, be snacking when I'm in the
Yeah,
house. It's like something that's supposed to last for like a few days. I'll be done with before the night is over.
I'm walking in the house to throw the bag away.
Oh man, yeah, you beat me. You got me beat.
Mm, yeah. I had to
Man,
stop. Oh, yeah, I'm bad.
yeah, I'm bad. Yeah, I'm bad. I'm bad with them nuts and trail mix, man. Chips too. Chips too. I'm saying not as bad as I am with nuts, but chips too. I get like I don't eat Doritos and stuff like that, but I get like a healthier version of some
Yeah,
chips. You know what I mean?
any chips,
Huh?
any chips.
Yeah, man. I just like
I love crunch, the crunchy, salty,
crunchy. Yeah, that crunchy, salty, man. You just keep going
Yeah.
back. Man, I just knocked out a bag today. I might have to chill on rules too. Um, man, dude. But okay. So did the elimination. So so by the time you got to raw and vegan, how were you like feeling? Were you feeling the same, or did you feel like, as you were progressing through these levels, were you getting healthier? Were things changing?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I was progressing through the levels, I was losing weight. I felt like I was getting like more mental clarity. I even had something tell me intuitively to eat light. And that's also something that inspired me to really start looking into raw vegan anyways, was like, what's this message that I'm getting? And then I realized that that's kind of something that people within the raw vegan and vegan community say about, their lifestyle is like eating light. And so, yeah, I started to feel better. I did. Um, and I was so grateful to be on the diet, and it was working until it wasn't, basically. Yeah, so it was working until it wasn't, and I noticed that, hey, I have lost weight. I feel better. I look better, like my skin's doing better and all that. But I just don't think that this is it for me. I don't think I've hit my best version, my max potential yet. So I really want to explore what other options there are. But given that I've already had meat before, which given that I already had meat before, I wasn't sure that that's something that it was ever going to be an option for me again. I'm like, it was on the elimination. So I'm not sure about that. And that's where I started looking into, does that mean no food? Because I've heard about it. What's that again? And then I found breatharian, and I was really interested in breatharian. I wasn't want to say I was really interested, but I was interested in, okay, what's going on here? Is that an actual thing? First of all. And so I scoped it out. I saw, who might be doing on Instagram. I looked for YouTube videos. I watched interviews and mostly people in the past and some current ones as well. Recent documentary. And I learned about breatharian and decided to give it a try because I was honestly at my wit's end. And I literally felt I had exhausted all other options and didn't know what else to do. So there I was, raw vegan and still not feeling it. And so then I went breatharian for 3 days.
Yeah. For 3 days. So you essentially fasted for 3 days.
Yep. No food, no water.
Oh, you didn't know. Oh, yeah, because breatharian is no water too. I forgot. Damn.
Well, apparently there's levels to breatharian, and some will do absolutely no food and water and things like that. So, but I did decide to go full on. That's the kind of gal I am. I went full on, so no food, no water, and it was interesting.
What was interesting? I mean, what was your experience on it?
Well, Uh, at the time, I was in a flare up, an Epstein-Barr flare up. So that means I had like raging inflammation, joint pain, fatigue, incredible weakness. Like it was hard to my sweats that I was wearing were actually kind of heavy. It was just
Ah,
hard to even
sweats was heavy.
pick them up and put them on. Like my wrists hurt so bad. And so at the time, it was difficult because I was thirsty because it was like 99 degrees in San Diego. It was a heat wave in San Diego at the same time. So, and you're supposed to like get energy and food like life from the sun, right? And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going outside, you know. And so in the mornings, I would go out there though. I would get a little sun if I could, if the fog would lift or not. In the afternoons, I would try to get out there. I was incredibly thirsty. I didn't really care to not eat. I felt like eating was more like wanting to eat was more emotional, like filling my time. I was bored for sure. Um, so it was fun. It was fun to do. It was just something that I wanted to try out, test, gather information about myself. Like, how does Natasha react to no food and water for 3 days? Where does my mind go? How can I still control that? Can I maintain that? How does my body react? What can I control with that? How does meditating affect? I listen to a lot of sound healing hertz and things like that. So I backed it up with a lot of intention. I think what's important when, anybody, I will say, I'm glad I made the decision to um follow my, path with important other decisions. I'm trying to say it's never just that one thing that you're doing, right? Because we see people do a 100-mile marathon, but there's so many other decisions that are made outside of that marathon, or even running in general, that you know doesn't always get highlighted or noticed or recognized. So um I just want to mention that about the breatharian, because I noticed that there have been people who have passed away from it and things like that. So, um, it's important to always just be aware before getting into anything. And but I had a great experience, and I'm glad I tried it out. And then I'm even more grateful to head on into an animal-based diet at the end of the 3-day fast.
Mhm. Wow.
Yeah.
So for the I know it doesn't matter. I know it's like vase, vase, potato, whatever. Is it breatharian or breatharian? That people, how do people generally pronounce it? Is it breatharian or breatharian? I thought it was breatharian. Not that it matters. Just curious.
Breatharian. Did I
Okay.
say breatharian?
Yeah, you said breatharian. There's nothing
Okay.
wrong with that. We all understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Oh, you heard about people dying from being breatharian. So my question is this, because
Trying it out.
obviously not at the level, not obviously not at the same level as you, to the degree that you have, because I haven't dealt with the issues that you're dealing with. But I have, I've experimented with different diets, you know what I'm saying? And I've experienced that thing where initially it's amazing, then after a while it kind of runs its course for you, and it's like, okay, what's next? What am I keeping out? What am I incorporating? So my thing is, not saying that you looked into this. How do people get to the point where they die from being a breatharian? You know what I'm saying? Because they don't get to a point where it's like, I need to get some food. I need to drink some water. You know what I'm saying? Like, are they dying and they're just like, oh no, I have to stay a breatharian? Like, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I've heard these stories about like, cause I was, I was vegan before, and I've heard these stories about, and I'm gonna try. I know, I know being, there are long term vegans who are healthy and they're doing very well, and that's all good. But I've heard these stories and I've read up on these vegans who they'd be vegan, and initially it'd be great, but after a while they start having health issues and stuff like that. But it's
Mhm.
like they get attached to this label, like, no, I'm a vegan. I'm dying, but I'm a vegan, so I have to continue not eating meat and not eating the things that might, make me healthy again. You know,
Yeah.
and they either,
Um,
they may eventually, change their minds or whatever. But I've read these stories, so at what point is it like, do people get attached to these labels even
yeah.
when they may not serve them anymore?
Yeah. You know what? That is such a great observation, in my opinion, because I experienced that as well. You know, I had never liked saying that I was raw vegan.
Uh-huh.
And because of the label, right? I didn't want to get mixed up in that. And I wanted to show my lifestyle because I truly thought that I was doing like the right thing for my health, right? Like I have FC-bar, this is what you're supposed to do, this is the right diet that everybody should be on, but I wasn't saying that. And I didn't want to, kind of shove it down people's throat by saying, oh, I'm raw vegan. Anyhow, um, so yes, I was a raw vegan, and then when it came to thinking about introducing meat back into my diet, I did feel a little off put,
Uh-huh.
just because I'm like, oh my gosh, I just rocked so hard with the raw vegan though. Like I
Well,
even made a video making a salad in the back of my
I saw that
car.
video.
You know what I'm saying? So I was just rocking raw vegan so hard. And then now I'm about to go to an animal-based diet. Oh my gosh, so it's not necessarily that like I wanted to stay raw vegan. It's just like, here we go, let's
Yeah,
take that hat off. Oh my gosh.
yeah. It's
Um, yeah. Best decision I ever made though.
oh, coming into the animal base.
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, we'll get into that. I was just saying. I remember I was. I mean, I've done. I mean, I still go through vegan phases, just at temporarily still. But I remember the first time I was like vegan, semi long term. I remember like the first 6 months was like amazing. You know what I mean? And not only was I vegan, I wasn't eating any junk food, no sugar, none of that. So I remember the first 6 months was like amazing, dude. There's all the, all the archetypal stuff people say about it, man. I had like, I had this energy and my mind was more clear. Um, I had like zero blemishes on my body. You know what I mean? It's like all the stuff people
Yeah.
say is what I had, and it was amazing. It felt so good. I was like, yo, man, fuck. Like I was feeling so good. I was like, yo, fuck some meat. I feel amazing. All I gotta do is eat like this, and I can just feel perfect.
Right.
I mean, like my body was just like performing at like an optimal level. You know what I mean? And I felt like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of that
Sorry.
6 months, man, like you good. At the end of that 6 months, man, uh, all of that stuff started fading out, and it's like my energy was gone, and I was getting skinny, and I couldn't, I lift weights and stuff. I couldn't put weight on, and I was weak, and I physically felt something missing from my body, right? So, and for all the sticklers out there, you didn't do it right. That may be true. You might be right. I'm not saying I did or didn't do it right. All I'm saying is this is what happened. I'm not saying the vegan diet is wrong. I'm saying this is what happened to me, and maybe I did do something wrong. For all the sticklers, the vegan police. Uh, so yeah, man. So I remember and I remember I got like attached to, I got attached to. Oh, I'm a vegan, man. I got to figure it out. I'm a vegan. I got to keep eating like this. I'm a vegan. I'm a vegan. I'm a vegan. And I would try to eat more. I try to, oh man, maybe I should eat more rice or I got to eat more beans, eat more falafels or whatever. Or
Waffles.
drink more protein shakes. I'm a vegan. I got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right. And I had a vegan homegirl, and I had a vegan homegirl. She was vegan too, and she was like headstrong. She was the type of vegan where she was like, not only am I vegan for my health, I'm vegan for the animals, and I don't want the animals to suffer, which is fine.
Right.
I'm not knocking that either. You know what I mean? I don't want the animals to suffer either. You know, but uh, I was attached to it. Like I'm a vegan. I was attached to it, and vegan is better than everything else. And one day I just gave in, man. I was like, nah, fuck this. I can't keep feeling like this, bro. Man, I went and got
What was your demise?
what was my demise? I think I just got
What
sick feeling.
Yeah, what food was it? Like what
Oh
what
man, I
brought
went
what
across
brought
the
your
street
downfall?
because I just wanted something immediately. I was like, I'm sick of feeling like this. Man, I went
Yeah.
across the street, got a chicken burrito from El Pollo Loco, and then,
Ooh, I love El Pollo Loco.
bro,
Oh
I
my
went and got a
God.
burrito from El Pollo Loco. Instantly felt fine. I felt like myself. My energy was
Yeah.
back. I pepped up all of a sudden off that one burrito. I was
Yeah.
fine. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it was probably protein or maybe some other stuff too. I don't know. But it was like I just felt fine. You know what I mean? And then I
Yeah.
started playing this little ping pong game where I started eating meat again, right? For me. But then, you know, I got into the space where I long-term vegan wasn't working for me. But eating meat all the time, I didn't like that either. So I tried to find this balance. Is kind of what I was going for. You know what I mean? So
Right.
so since then I just depends. I'm doing different things every week. Oh, this week I'm chilling on the bread. This week I'm
Mhm.
chilling on the meat. This depending on how I'm feeling, I just go by that. It's kind of where I'm at now. But yeah, man, that attachment, bro, is a real thing. But yeah, that. uh I will say though, when I am back then when I was vegan and like I still, I still cut a meat out from time to time now, just maybe for a few weeks here, a few weeks there, or eat small portions of it. When I'm eating vegan, right? But not only vegan, just like healthy vegan, right? I'm eating my fruits and all that. I do feel more in tune with myself. I notice.
Mhm.
I do notice that. Um, I feel more in touch with myself, more in tune with myself, just like mentally, physically, and spiritually, like the whole thing. You know what I mean? But and it's good until it's not.
Right? Yeah.
So what made you move into the animal base?
So I actually started seeing clips of Paul Saladino on Instagram. And it's because I was started following different nutritionists, and so my algorithm was sending me a lot of people who were also uncovering the different toxins within food, like the harmful dyes, high fructose corn syrup, things like that. And so I started learning about the human body. And so Paul Saladino coincidentally started popping up on my feed, and he was talking all this about animal based, and I'm like, okay, like it's really funny because when I was a raw vegan, I was commenting on his posts defending, like like hey, this is great information, things like that. I am not like an animal based, I don't eat meat, but this is awesome because it is. I just really respected his research, his work, even though I didn't personally take it on from my lifestyle.
Yeah.
I really had my own intentions. I recognize that my body may be different, and I still took on everything and heard it, looked into it myself. And so I was really influenced by seeing a lot of his clips. And honestly, I was more, adept to be influenced because the things that he was saying was saving my life. I learned about not consuming seed oils from Paul Saladino.
Mm.
And once I did that,
Seed oils,
that's when the
grape
weight
seed,
loss dropped
sunflower,
off.
safflowers, grape seed, sunflower, safflower. Uh,
Right. Yes. And I could physically feel it. That's how it works with my body. If I grab, so I was getting those, potato chips that
mhm.
had only coconut oil or only olive oil. And one time my friend got me a bag, like thinking it was a similar bag, and it ended up having sunflower oil. I could feel it immediately. It just hits my back. My back just goes wah wah wah. The cyst is right between my shoulders. Yeah. The cyst is right between my shoulder blades, and so it just like feels like maybe somebody punched it or something like that. So for me, once he started talking about those things and educating, I started getting educated on those. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's it. Like that's what's causing this inflammation. And so I really started thinking about this animal-based stuff that he was talking about. I'm like, he was right with the seed oils, and then he was right with the peanuts, he was right with the oats. And I mean, I couldn't testify against it. I felt better. Yeah, and so the results didn't lie. And
Yeah.
so that's why I was intrigued in the animal-based diet. That's why I'm on it now.
So you're saying it was a thing where it's like, and I have this with certain people I follow too, right? It's like, obviously not that you want to believe stuff just because people said it, but it's like, okay,
Right.
right about this, he was right about this, he was right about this. Well, shit, maybe he right about this too.
Right.
Yeah, okay,
And
yeah.
it was my gut. Like, I love peanuts. Like, as a raw vegan, I really did explore different fruits and nuts and vegetables and things like that. And one thing that I loved was peanuts. Like, I would buy them raw and boil them, like a Cajun boiled peanut batch. Also roasted and salted. Who doesn't love that? But something in my gut and my mind was telling me, girl, this ain't it. the peanuts ain't it. And I'm just like, what? Why would I feel that way? And then a couple of days later, I'm seeing a clip of Paul Saladino saying peanuts have all this, that, and the other. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Ah, I can't testify against it. So, and I would eliminate that item from my diet
So is it like
or
no
from my
peanuts or
life.
less peanuts?
I'm sorry?
No peanuts or less peanuts? No,
Milk peanuts?
no peanuts or less peanuts?
Oh, I don't have any peanuts at all.
Okay, got you, got you, got you. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Because yeah, if a little bit, if it causes harm,
Yeah.
so it causes my body harm. So, yep, no peanuts. I do miss it. I do miss peanut butter. But I love being able to wake up and walk outside. So,
Oh, yeah, that's nice. Yeah, if a peanut is the difference between me getting up and walking outside, I get rid of peanuts with the quickness.
yep, yep. Yeah. Some people like it's been such a drastic change for me, and then I talk about maybe raw vegan and animal based and things like that. And some people don't understand it at first. I think it's wild, and I'm like, well, it's my life. So
That's yeah,
easy
absolutely. So
choice.
it's very individual. It's your life, so you got to go on your journey and figure out what's
Yeah.
happening for you. You can't be listening to other people, and unless it's beneficial
Sure.
for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've known. I never tried it, but I have a few friends who've done. I know you animal based, not carnivore diet, but I have a few friends who've done the carnivore diet, and I've heard amazing things. Like I've heard amazing things, and I'm sure it's all depends on the person in the sense that uh is it like me with the vegan? Is it sustainable long term? I'm not
Right.
talking about you in particular, but my friends who have done a carnivore diet, they be like, oh man, I feel great, got all this energy, I've been shitting good, and da 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 da. And all this, like honestly, I've heard people on a carnivore diet say the same things that I felt when I initially went vegan.
Mm.
Right? This
Right.
carnivore diet saying the exact same things, and these are like opposite diets. You know what I mean? So it just makes me
Right.
think, okay, and not judging, maybe it is, maybe it's not. But I'm just like, okay, is it sustainable for you? You know what I mean? Is this like a for the
Right.
rest of your life thing, or is this just like get you right for the next 6 months or so?
Right.
But,
Yep. That's why I love the animal-based diet because it has a little bit of everything, except for the gluten and things like that. But it has meat, it has raw dairy, so you still have yogurt and milk and cheese,
right.
and
Eggs and
right, and then you still have fruit. And who doesn't, I
stick
mean,
fruit.
fruit is amazing. So, and there's such a variety within, I mean, even avocados a fruit. So, you know,
Okay, so the animal based diet, because I always hear about people on the carnivore diet, but I haven't heard animal based. I don't know, it's all these little different labels, but
yeah.
animal based is animal products and fruit.
So
Is that
yes,
what it
but
is?
it's also raw dairy as well.
Right, animal product. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Well, animal
Sorry.
products, like you get animal products and fruit essentially. So no veggies. No
Yep.
veggies, no veggies, no carbs other than fruit.
Right.
Okay.
Now there is a chart that does allow like pickles, or maybe some fermented things.
Right.
Um, like technically, I think zucchini is a fruit, avocado, so but yes, like squash,
Mhm.
um, yeah.
Okay. How you feeling on that?
I feel great.
Okay.
I've gained some weight. I gained 5 pounds. It's been 2 weeks since I've been on the animal-based diet,
Uh-huh.
and I gained 5 pounds. My night sweats have reduced. I've only
Nice.
had night sweats one time so far, so that's been great. Every meal is delicious, so I'm loving that.
Like, yes, meat is back.
Yes, I've had lamb, elk,
Yeah.
bison.
You a meat eater for real.
Oh yeah, I'm out here.
You
Yeah.
are you about it. You about it. Yeah, once people start getting into the elks and stuff like that, oh, you do meat for real. It's
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And it's so good. And my gut feels good. And yeah, I have more energy. So one thing that I did start to do was I just recently in the last day or so is up my protein and reduce my fruit. Since I am coming out of a flare up, I've just been a bit tired to cook. So I got a little bit lazy and kind of went carb heavy on the fruits rather than sitting and taking time with the meat. But now I'm reducing the fruit and upping the meat. So the last 2 days it's been meat and eggs mostly with some fruit on the side and took the honey down a notch a little bit because I was creating some like little awesome desserts with coconut yogurt, honey, kefir yogurt. Oh, it's been awesome. Um, and I've been having so much fun making these animal-based boards. I'll chop up some cheese, I'll throw some meat on there, I'll make some fruit, make it look all nice, and just to have a feast with my friends. It's great.
it's cool. Congratulations. That's cool. Okay. Um, what's your favorite meat? Do you have a favorite? Take your time. Take your time.
My favorite meat, right? Yeah, that's a good question.
Probably not, because usually when people have a favorite something, they can go straight to it. If you got to think about it too hard, maybe you don't have a
I
favorite.
know, right? Well, I mean, like I'm always down for a ribeye, and then I lived in Guam for a couple of years, and their short ribs. Oh my gosh, the best. I can't have it now because of the marinade and things that they use, but the best short ribs I've ever had, hands down.
So I need to go to Guam for the short ribs.
Oh my gosh, yeah. They
So
have
where's the
something called
Guam?
finadeni. It's this sauce
Spin a
they
Denny.
pour it on the rice. Yes, it's called finadeni. It's so good. There's these peppers that are only grown on the island as well that are used in it. Oh,
Exclusive.
so good.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
It's like one of the best things about traveling is the food.
right.
Were you there just on a trip for yourself, or was it a military thing?
For Guam, it was military. I was there from 2017 to 2019.
Damn, girl, you was in the military 9 years. That's a long time.
Yeah,
How old were you when you joined?
I was 20.
You was 20. Okay. Wow.
Yep, I just turned 20. So, yep, I had
That was
just
your whole
turned
20s.
20 and got out. I'm sorry?
That was your whole 20s. You was in the military.
Yep,
Yeah. Wow. Awesome. That's
yeah,
a that's a whole nother episode right there.
right.
Okay. So you definitely hit your journey. So you probably learned a lot. So I know for me, man, like I learned the most in my life when I got a problem or ailment. I got a problem I got to figure out. So you figure out everything that surrounds that problem. Or if I got something going on with my body, I figure out everything that has to do with whatever that situation is. So
Hmm.
you probably learned a lot about just food and the body in general. I'm assuming since
Yes.
your whole life for the last however many years.
Yes. Yes. My friends can't wait for me to shut up.
Oh yeah, you got something to say about everything, probably.
Yeah, well, like honestly, when you learn about it, it's like, oh, snap. Like the dyes causing, ADHD and things like that in kids.
Yeah,
It's like happening in real time. It's like not a past thing. This is talking about the present,
right
you
now.
know? And
Yeah.
then you're watching somebody eat it and you're like, oh
No.
shit,
Yeah,
that, you
yeah.
know?
I
So,
don't eat perfect, but I eat like I eat relatively healthy compared to the average person. But I eat generally healthy, but I haven't gotten to them into them nicks and crannies of details where it's like, oh, it's got seed oils in it, I can't eat it, or
yeah,
you know, I mean, as far as dyes though, that's usually what candy and stuff like that. What are the dyes typically in?
yeah,
Candies.
yeah. like licorice. I'm specifically off the top of my head thinking licorice, and I'm just throwing out, first thing that
Yeah.
comes to mind on the recent news that's come out about
Okay.
food that's been allowed to pass through FDA. But yeah.
FDA saying through some trash, huh? Okay. Um, yeah, man, like I'm healthy, but like I said, I haven't been like, oh, this has sunflower oil in it, so I can't eat this. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it might be my next oh, this has canola oil. Oh, I gotta stay away from that. You know what I mean? So that might be my next level, the oils. Um,
Yeah.
okay. What are your now? Do you still so with your diets, do you have like cheats? We like, okay, I've been on my diet, or is it too painful for you? Do you be like, oh, I need a cookie? Or is it like,
Uh,
or is it like absolutely not because it's gonna hurt if I do it. You get what I'm
yeah.
saying? Oh, I mean, this ice
Yep.
cream. 'Cause I've been yeah, okay. I've been perfect on my diet, eating all the stuff I'm supposed to eat, eating all the stuff I told myself I'm gonna eat for the time being. So I'm gonna treat myself to this thing that's unhealthy for me. Do you still do
Yeah.
it? Or is it like, no, if I eat that, it's gonna hurt, so I'm not gonna do it?
Right. I've cheated before and paid for it, and I don't cheat now.
See now. Okay, got you, got you.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, it happened to me on accident. So because there's that part as well. Like I only do organic and all that stuff, right? Well, my friend had gotten organic seaweed, and it's just those little instances of honestly like laziness, I guess, and where I didn't check. And because I really thought like it's just seaweed.
Yeah,
And it turns out there was sunflower oil on it. And luckily, I only had two, and so I didn't feel anything. But I have cheated in the past. Like I've cheated on like a brisket. I've cheated on like maybe like a cupcake or sourdough bread and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Because I also see it as a time to gather information on what my body can handle, what's my reaction like, and stuff like that. So it's like the main thing about this diet is learning what's best for my body,
yeah.
And so, yes, I have cheated, and I know that there are certain things I totally cannot cheat on. And it's just like this. I didn't choose this life. This life chose me because I'm a tater tot popping, Dorito bag opening,
I fuck some tater
yeah,
tots.
pumpkin seed pouring, you know.
Hey, pumpkin
I
seeds? Yeah.
I'm all about, I'm like, when we talked about snacks, I'm all about the
Oh,
snacks.
you overdo it. Okay, got you.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, um, yeah, so this has been like, when people are like, oh my gosh, it's so hard, I couldn't do it. I'm like, who are you telling?
You
Who
have a
are you
choice.
telling?
Yeah, yeah. It's something you
Yeah,
had to do. You wasn't just
right. Yeah.
life and said, yo, you know what? I'm gonna just, you know what? I'm gonna go vegan and then raw vegan, then breatharian and be animal.
I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna go so hard for no reason. Like,
Yeah,
no, that's not what I'm doing.
that's funny, man. Yeah, that's heavy.
Right?
I
Yeah.
can only imagine, man. Like, I try to do good right now, but I can only imagine being in that situation where you just like have to.
I'm grateful. I'm so grateful, to be honest. Like, yes, it's been a challenging journey, but I
Wondering.
love a challenge,
Yeah,
and I wouldn't have it any other way. And it's brought me to the best version of myself continuously.
right.
So I couldn't really ask for a better life.
Yeah. Um, yeah, you brought you to the best version of yourself. I mean, you can't be mad at that. Um, okay. So you said I know YouTube be tripping, so I'm not gonna say the words. But so you said the Epstein bar happened after you got the thing, right? I'm
Mhm.
just call it I'm gonna call it the thing. So what are your feelings on that? Do you have any feelings on that? Or
I will say
what are your genuine
that,
feelings on? Yeah.
yeah, I'll say that my feelings, or like my opinion, I like my feelings are separate. I don't have feelings on it.
Uh-huh.
You know, my thoughts and feelings about what happened are that it happens. and it is what it is. I'm okay with it. I don't have any proof that it caused it. I think more will be revealed. In the
Mhm.
meantime, I'm more so focused on what I can control and, what I want to spend my time thinking about. And at first, I do sometimes share that it happened after that,
Right, right,
but
right, right.
it's not something that I even want to waste any of my time on? So I just move on.
Okay, that's good. That's a good spirit to have regarding it, because it's not gonna make you whatever it is. It's not gonna make you feel good or have any positive outcome. So, all right,
Unless I'm getting paid,
yeah,
I got it documented.
yeah, okay. All right. Anything else you want to touch on? I think that was everything I wanted to hit. Anything you're interested in? Just anything else you want to say or had on your heart?
Not that I can think of at the moment. I think that I'm just grateful. It's a beautiful day. It's a Friday and happy to be alive.
There it is. There it is. Happy to be alive.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Happy Friday. Happy to be alive. Shit, it even feels Wednesday. Happy Wednesday.
Every day.
Every day. All right, man. So yeah, that was dope. That was dope.
Yeah.
We had some real good stuff there. So yeah, I guess this is the end of this episode of I'm from Marty's Revelations. Another motherfucker running his mouth on the internet. And this has been Natasha Taylor, who's in Oxnard helping her friend move back to Arkansas. Yeah, that's it. I'm ending this recording. Wait, as soon as I find where to end this recording. There it is. Okay. And wait. And